barely have you in the shot, though.
Hi, Facebook Live.
What? Why do you... Hey, Facebook Live. Hannah's talking weird today to the camera, so just go with it. We are about to record episode... We're about to episode this record. Man, it is kind of a freaky Friday. I'm getting things backwards. So we're this is number what?
8.
Episode 8. And what is our awesome title?
Why you should care more about who you hire than what they can do.
For shizzle. So care more about who people are and who they are and who they're becoming than what they do. That's just part of being a good leader or a good person. So we're going to discuss that. Throw up your questions. We'll keep an eye out. We'll try not to screw it up like we did last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get the questions?
Can possibly get the questions, yes.
We might can do this in a really cool, techie way that makes us seem like we're just awesome and this is so easy for us. But more likely, we're going to have to come back around to the phone and check it out. Also, first time filming on our tripod, thanks to my pops.
Got it. All right.
Awesome.
Good to go.
No feedback. There we go. So, Hannah Grace Bauer joined. Good. Put on a mask. I don't want to put on a mask.
We're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that. Okay.
Are we recording?
Yeah, we're recording there. So, hey, David.
Hey, David. Okay. Are we ready?
Sorry, that's the NBA song. The NBA.
Oh, gotcha.
It has like an official song. So that was it. I'm pretty sure, what's his name did it? Blonde guy. He did the, like the Tale of Jack Sparrow with Lonely Island.
Oh, yeah.
What is that guy's name?
I don't remember his name. But...
Blonde. Michael Bolton.
Gotcha.
Michael Bolton did the NBA theme song and the Ballad of Jack Sparrow. Okay.
All right. Are we ready?
I think so. Bring it in.
All right. And go. Okay. And 3, 2.
Hold on. Intro.
I got it. Busy business leaders. Already on it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. You're listening to the Business Rising podcast, where we provide inspiration, education, and application for busy business leaders. I'm Hannah Bauer from the Phoenix 21 Creative Agency, and I'm sitting here with Kenny Lang, the founder.
What's up, Hannah?
What's up, Kenny?
You know, just living life on this Friday. I don't know what day it is.
More like Friday.
Ho!
Oh.
I think that's a hashtag.
It actually is, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Fry is a hashtag Friday. Rocking the summer haircut. Just feel like a weight's been lifted off.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm really into bad puns lately. I was talking to a plumber friend of mine, and we were having a brainstorm, and I called what I was able to do mental Drano. He was having a lot of creative block, and I just...
Mental Drano. I like it.
I mean, someone could potentially interpret that as I'm just mentally draining to them.
Actually, yeah, you could.
You're a mental Drano. Sounds like, I'm Captain Insano. Adam Sandler.
Perfect.
You know what I just realized?
What?
We have this fan on.
Oh, let's go ahead and shut that off.
Yeah, because I really like to work up a sweat while we're talking.
So it's not... Never mind. I was going to try and say a pun with mental Drano, mental working up a sweat. I don't know where I was going. It was potentially a really good idea, but I'm just not good at puns, so...
How are you not good at puns?
I'm just not good at puns. I'm actually funny, so...
Oh! Okay. See, when you had the sweat thing, I thought you were going to go into a White Goodman dodgeball thing. Like, oh, you caught me. I like to break a mental sweat as well.
No, that would have been good.
That would have been.
I usually speak in movie quotes, but that would have been good.
Yeah, so maybe you're not as funny as you think you are.
No, well, okay. All right. Agree to disagree, I guess.
Agree to disagree.
We'll leave it up to the people listening to the Business Rising podcast.
That's really going to be one. Yeah.
Leave a 5-star review if you think I'm funny, and then leave a 5-star review if you think Kenny's funny. Either way, leave a 5-star review, but you can also put in the comments who you think is funnier.
I like that. We're asking earlier in the podcast in case somebody didn't want to wait till the end of the conversation. Yeah, 5-star reviews. Help. If this helps you, help us, help others. Give us 5 stars. Let us know what you think. And then check out the Facebook Live streaming, which we're doing right now.
Yeah,
I'm pointing at the camera. You can't see me because this is a podcast and as such is audio-based. But there's people filming like what we're doing, so if you're more of a visual person.
We also write blogs and we drop the video in there, or you can find them on YouTube under Phoenix 21 Creative Agency.
The YouTube channel, yesterday, we had like a super boost of like 34 minutes of watching our stuff. Yeah, and we added a couple of new subscribers, so we're still like in the first 2-3 weeks of doing the YouTube.
Yeah, it's really early
the
on.
YouTube. I like to add the before things like, the Twitter or the Facebook.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's just those older generations.
When you're in,
but I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, yeah, those older generations who write paychecks.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those people.
Anyway.
Ha!
Yeah, like our videos and watch our videos when we're
subscribe
to our videos. We talking about being funny. We're so much funnier when you watch our facial expressions.
Right.
I mean, they're great. Sometimes we just make faces. More like I make faces that
she does.
I don't even notice that I make, and I go back and I'm like, what is that? What is your posture?
I wish everybody listening could see my face.
Go back and watch episode 5.
Is it episode 5?
It is episode 5. Go back and watch that one, just the beginning. Anyway, I channeled my inner Donald Trump in that video, apparently. And I don't know if you're about to shut this off because of that, or if you're going to keep listening because of that. But either way, it's funny.
It is. It is funny. Speaking of, so go check out. We're posting these videos, our 1-minute marketing, our minute marketing videos, which are just 60 seconds long. We're posting those on YouTube now.
Yeah.
So those are I know that these typically go like 40, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, and they're longer. We get it. So we have 1-minute videos that with marketing tips that are, we try to put some thought into as far as making them entertaining because, there's a ton of video content out there and we're just trying to compete for our slice of the pie. But most of all, we want to help people, but we want to make it enjoyable.
Or follow us on Medium for a 5-minute read of the show notes. Not even a 5-minute sometimes.
Yeah, you get the highlights. It's what's the Spark? No. Is it Spark Notes?
In high school when you were to cheat. Yeah, Spark Notes. Cool.
I mean, I didn't cheat. I heard about other people who would.
Anyway, I feel like we're on our A game, marketing ourselves today.
We are. This podcast.
We're a marketing agency.
One might think that. So I feel like we should have prefaced this with this podcast episode sponsored by
the Phoenix 21.
The Marketing Minute. No, well, I guess the agency. We should start doing that.
Yeah.
Be our own advertiser. I mean, you really don't get the benefit of added money. But you get to talk about yourself more. And
anyway,
whatever.
Talking about banter and who's funny and who's not funny. Let's go ahead and jump into today's topic.
I was curious how you're going to swing this back around to the actual topic.
We know. I'm always
We didn't even say that at the very beginning.
We didn't. We just marketed. But anyway, it's okay. We know that I'm super creative in bringing it back around to what we're actually talking about. I like to rein it in. So today we are talking about why you should care more about who you hire rather than what they can do. And I feel like after everything we just talked about and spent time saying, we should just jump straight in. Kenny, where does this idea come from? Because I know this is something that you hold very dearly, and something that's very prevalent in this business with who you work with.
Yeah, so there was a quote, I'm pretty sure he's not the first person to say it, but Perry Noble, He was the founding pastor and former lead pastor of New Spring Church in Anderson, South Carolina. Now he runs his own company where he consults for businesses and churches called The Growth Company. No, he's not sponsoring this. I just think he's a really smart, authentic guy. So I believe a lot in what he's doing. But on his leadership podcast, he used to say a lot that you need to care more about who people are becoming than what they're doing.
Tweet that. #
truth bomb. That struck me because I be I have been a very achievement oriented person, and I tend to, whatever we view as our strengths, we believe everybody should be living their life that way too. That's not unique to me. So I would view people, their value in terms of their achievements, or at least how hard they were working towards their achievements. So I viewed people more as human doings than human beings. And after I heard that, it caused me to think a lot about how I evaluated and looked at people that I was interacting with, at work, at church, at home, pretty much everywhere. Because what somebody is doing is so much easier to measure, to monitor, to give feedback on than who someone's becoming.
Right.
Because it's more objective than who someone is being. But, honestly, we weren't put on this earth to be human doings. We weren't put on this earth to, please don't email me. I don't want to get into there's the Great Commission. Yeah, I get that. But the part of that people will gloss over is that it says as you go. It's as you live.
Right.
Make disciples. So it's not, chase down everybody, sort of thing. Although I certainly think that there's value in chasing down people, but not out of achievement, but out of a genuine love for the other person more than, what the benefit is to you. So another topic for a different day.
Yes.
So that was something that even before I started the agency was big on my heart. And as we've grown, we hired you, and we have interns coming in and other people that we're doing training programs for, and clients, to view them as human beings and not as this is a client who writes a check to support what we do. We value the exchange of goods and services and money and dollar, and I value the things that you do and the ways that you help us grow and help me personally on focusing and kind of being an extension of some things that I want to do. But I've just found it always far more rewarding and far better to take a lifetime view of a person, and then that helps me back into, okay, who's this person becoming? Maybe they're a star performer, but they're just have a crappy attitude. Patrick Lencioni in the book The Advantage talks about the fact that knowledge at this point in time in the world is essentially commoditized. And by that I mean that it's no longer, there aren't gatekeepers of knowledge really anymore. It's accessible to everybody. It's a commodity as much as buying French fries. You can get French fries almost anywhere. There's really nothing held back. There's tons of free courses online to learn different things, and there's Google has been a key contributor to this. So Patrick said that culture is going to be the competitive element, the competitive advantage in the marketplace. And even Gary Vee, I was listening to a keynote that he gave recently at this HR technology conference, and talked about the fact that his second in command isn't a CFO or a COO or anything like that. It's his chief heart officer, which, in regular terms, somebody may say is the head of HR, but he is someone who's the chief heart officer, and his focus and her focus, her name is Claude, but is how is everybody doing? How are they adjusting? Are they making friends? Are they connecting with the people around them? Are they connecting with people in different departments? And Gary attributes so much of his success to the trust and focusing on the people, the emotional issues of the people in the workplace, and how they're growing, and are they actually taking steps towards their goal? Is VaynerMedia a part of that for them? He said that his competitive advantage is that they can move faster than everybody else because of the deep emotional heart connections that are built inside that place. And he has 700, 800 employees.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big ship that, you know, most times, you know, big ships don't go fast. But he's been able to do that, and I think that's where you see that idea, that thinking went out.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of proof in our own company as well, because you made it a point to let me know that you cared more about who I was becoming than who I was or what I could do for you. It's built our, you know, personal relationship and our work relationship on a stronger foundation, and it gives me the freedom to feel like I can be human in a place where, yes, I have responsibilities, but know that it's okay if something goes wrong, or if I need help on something, or just anything like that. It opens up a safe space, I think, which can actually cause more productivity out of somebody than if you're just coming down on them. But and what you were saying, that kind of sparked a question that I think people might want to know the answer to, is when you sit down to hire, you know, you're given a resume, and kind of what we're talking about goes against the regular thinking of business leaders, because they want resumes. What have you done? Who have you worked for? Do you have any experience at all in what you're applying for? How do you implement this when you're just sitting down with somebody and you're reading over their resume? Are you supposed to just be a really good reader of people? What do you think?
Well, I mean, part of my answer is, I guess, a little unfortunate for those that are listening, is that, yeah, it is. You need to have a really good EQ and be able to read people. And I don't mean that in a, you know, twisted, manipulative way. But do you have enough self-awareness about yourself, which often high self-aware people can also read a room, read a person, interpret body language accurately, pick up on the subtleties in somebody's language and their tone and their posture and things like that, to say, is this someone I want to be around? Now, we all do it to some extent. A lot of times subconsciously. I think of like dating. You know, they say that you know, you're making decisions within, you know, the first 7 to 10 seconds about whether or not you would even entertain a further discussion with this person in a romantic way. And some of that is just reading the body language and stuff like that. Now, can people mask that and be manipulative? And can you be wrong? Absolutely. We're all human and flawed and on both sides. But yeah, some of it is you sit down and you know, I put less and less stock in resumes. Part of that is because one of our competitive advantages, I feel like, is that I'm naturally strong at teaching.
Right.
So this wild amount of experience that other agencies or even other businesses might require of somebody coming in, certainly I don't discount anybody's experience. I think that people can redeem any of their experiences. People, I mean, really, God redeems the experience, but they can pull learning lessons out of any past experience. I mean, heck, I was working for a commercial cleaning company. I was working at nights cleaning buildings, scrubbing toilets, and then I was supervising people who were doing that and leading them. And you say, well, what in the heck does that have to do with agency? It lets me know that I'm never too good to do anything here, because I've cleaned toilets. I'm not better than anybody else. There's a lesson to be pulled away. So some is reading, you know, the resume, but the other part really is hearing how the person talks, hearing how they talk about themselves, other people, their other relationships, And hearing about, do they even have a vision for their future? Is that something that they want? Or are they just here to punch a clock? And so I know that these are all kind of vague generalities, but there's a lot of just EQ going from the gut for me. And that's something that I felt like I kind of had naturally growing up. And then experiences and even my education, which are both focused on how people think and speak and sit and listen and all these other things. Plus, I'm interested in podcasts that go over that sort of stuff. So I've taken what felt like a talent and tried to hone it into an actual skill. By the way, there is sidebar. There is a difference. You may be talented, but if you do jack crap with it, it won't become a skill, and you won't have a craft. And somebody else who works harder than you, that's less talented, will beat you out. So just keep that in mind. Sidebar. That one was for free. That's a free nugget.
Hey.
Yeah, so if you listen closely, there's little gold nuggets all throughout. But that has been something that's helped me win. That and the fact that I believe so strongly that I could teach anybody any skill. I can't teach you how to be an honest person. I can't teach you how to love people. I can't teach you how to get along with your coworkers and be collaborative and things like that. So I would say to anybody, if you are hiring, whether you're a manager, an owner, an executive, whatever, if your role includes hiring, hire, I'm not the first person to say this, but maybe it's the first time you're hearing it, hire for fit.
Mm-hmm.
Teach the skills.
Right.
Hire for fit. If they feel like a good fit culturally, emotionally, with you and your team, get your team involved in hiring too, because people will put on airs when they're being interviewed for the boss person. We've all been around that person who's such a total suck up is the word I'll use right now. But they're a total jackwagon to their team members. Get other people involved in it to get a well-rounded view. But you should hire for people who feel like a good values fit, emotional fit, and just culture fit overall, and then teach them the skills that they need.
Right. Would you say people who maybe lack that ability to kind of read it or read people in that sit-down hiring process, would you say go ahead and hire, but maybe just be more invested in that person as they start? If you have gone ahead and hired them, don't be like concerned about deadlines and everything, but maybe be invested in who they are, or is it all at that first meeting?
I would say make your hiring process longer.
Gotcha.
Give yourself, especially if you feel like, we're looking at making our hiring process longer, interview process longer for, not just people who would be paid, but, unpaid interns who are here to learn. We should, my recommendation would be make it longer, and make it even longer if you feel like it's a weakness of yours. But I would say find someone who can stand in that place for hiring. Maybe you should be less and less involved in the hiring process until maybe the very end, or not at all, but you've just had a frank conversation with somebody who is going to do that hiring. If you know, like, hey, I'm not great at this part, I need somebody who can vet these people out, who has a higher EQ than me, is far more people oriented than me. Fill that gap. Use somebody else from your team, and then you be focused on the task. That doesn't mean ignore the relational side, but if you got to be honest enough with yourself to know if you suck at it or not.
Right.
And if you do, own up to it and find somebody else who can help you interview, and your company will be a lot better off. It may hurt your pride, but I would think damaging your pride is more acceptable than building a crappy company that eventually will just have high turnover, because turnover is flipping expensive. So if you want to look at dollars and cents, retention is the best way to drive down your cost. Hiring frequently, if it's churn, people leave or get fired and you're hiring to replace that. Now, if it's just growth, that's one thing. But if it's turnover, that can be one of the most expensive things in a company's, profit and loss statement. And a lot of it can be hidden because it's time, it's opportunity costs, it's things like that you're pursuing, hiring to fill these gaps, but all you're doing is bringing in crappy people to interact with other poor attitude, poor performers, and the few good people you get are going to probably have a high EQ. They're going to realize that they're in a bad situation. They're going to actively look to leave. Dave Ramsey says that thoroughbreds don't like to be in the same stable as donkeys. So if you just keep putting more donkeys in the stables and you actually do get a thoroughbred in, they're going to find a way to leave.
Yeah.
So hire slowly, get somebody with EQ if it's not you, someone else, and then focus on continuing to delight that person and engage with them and who they are becoming as a person. Because yes, they may be giving you 40 or 50, whatever your work schedule is, hours a week, but there's a lot of hours outside of that make up the whole of who they are. And if you can help them grow in those areas, it'll come back to you in a really good way.
Yeah. What would you say, maybe even just very bluntly and honestly, to people who say that they don't have time to hire and teach, because you said hire for fit, teach the skills. People who are saying, well, I don't have time to teach the skills, I run a business. What would you say?
I would say if you don't think you have the time to teach the skills adequately, properly, then you're going to end up dedicating the time that could have been knocked out by really training well a few people by hiring and firing a bunch of people, and you'll actually end up spending more time. So you're dumb, honestly, if you think that it's a time suck to really dive in and train. I was listening to the Seeking Wisdom podcast earlier today, and they were talking about that. That was one of the action items that their co-founder, I think it's Elias. Is it Elias? Something like that. Sorry, dude, if I mispronounce your name. But because we know the guys from Drift are listening to this podcast. That would be awesome. Please let us know if you are. And if you would like to come on as a guest. But he went to Jocko Willnick's, who the author of Extreme Ownership and does the Jocko podcast. But he's a leadership intensive conference. And one of the things he came back from that for key takeaways was the onboarding and the training. It says really spend the time in doing this. Now, Jocko consults with like Fortune 100 and 500 and Fortune 1000 type companies to help them optimize their process. So this isn't just like, hey, somebody had a good idea. Like, no, like this guy's a Navy SEAL who led one of the largest, most successful groups over in Ramadi, overseas in Iraq. So the guy knows a thing or two about leading and training and discipline. And he just stressed training and onboarding, making that a rich, rewarding experience, and taking the time to really immerse somebody in your culture and what's expected and how they're expected to do something, and supplying them with all of the equipment that they need to accomplish their task, basically setting them up for success. Long term, if that person is with you for 5 years instead of 5 months, the amount of money that you will save yourself will be much higher. Plus, top line revenue gets a hit, because the longer someone's with you, the more they know your systems, the faster they can move. And in this economy, in this market, people who move faster win.
Right.
So if you want to win, take the time to train your people.
Yeah.
Yes, I know it feels slow and sluggish, and it would be awesome if somebody could just come in with all this experience and know exactly what you wanted, but those people don't exist.
Yeah.
Even well-qualified people don't know, because your place and your culture and your norms and morals and everything and values are going to be unique. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you would say this is top-notch, top priority, vital to business growth.
Absolutely, yes. Whether you have 1 people or 100 people or 1,000 people, implement this sort of attitude, because it's not. I'm afraid that some people are going to confuse this as, oh, I'm going to add this as another to-do, is to elongate the training. Don't get me wrong. Please elongate the training, elongate the hiring process, put those things in place. The most important thing you can do is to have a change of attitude, even if whether it's a tweak or a 180. It's about the heart attitude behind what we're saying. I'm not giving anybody a list of to-dos, because quite frankly, if you're a busy business leader, you don't need one more thing to do. But changes in your attitude, which, by the way, you're only responsible for you can only change your own attitude. You can't change somebody else's. So adjust your attitude and your outcomes will be a lot better.
Right.
That would be better than you implementing 10 new things for your onboarding and hiring process. It's just to have a simple change of attitude with the people you've already hired. As a matter of fact, I would say start with them. Start with a few people. Start talking to them for 5 minutes every week about what's on their heart, what are they struggling with, what projects that they want to do, what ideas they have, and get to know the whole person, not employee number 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. That's, people don't want to be a number.
Right.
So get to know them. That will transform your business, even if it's just you and another person.
That's good. I feel like that's some good information and encouraging information, but I don't think you can really talk about this enough because it's so important. Not saying we're about to go into a 3-hour podcast, but actually as we're winding down here, is there another point that you want to throw out there to inspire people or just kind of hit this, make it run home? That's not the phrase I was looking for.
Drive it home, or
drive it home.
Was that better?
I run home, so
wow,
I'm just kidding,
that's
I don't.
Discipline
It's
right
actually
there.
like a 30-minute drive.
Screw driving. I'm about to.
Texas heat.
All right, I'm about to run this home. Does that mean you need to leave? Is that? I would say if you're serious about making this change, and really transforming the culture of your company, one, realize it starts with you,
right,
and your attitude towards people that you work with, because it can be very easy to flip a switch and see cogs in a machine instead of humans providing for their families or chasing their dreams or whatever else it is. But change your attitude, and then have a very frank conversation with people if you are going to change. Just say, look, one, acknowledge your own faults. If you want them, the person sitting next to you or across the desk or whatever it is when you're having these conversations, if you want them to be gut level honest and authentic with you, you have to go first. So open up and say, look, I know I tend to micromanage and only talk about work stuff and these deadlines, and I've beat you up about this, and I want to say that I'm sorry. I realize that there is a better way to do things, and I'm going to work on changing these things, and I hope you'll give me grace along the way. But I want to let you know that I want to start caring more about who you are and who you're becoming, more so than what you do. Now, some people may think, oh, well, let's just give them permission for people to be poor performers and blah, 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 blah. Absolutely not. People are there. They are paid to show up, to do excellent work, and to meet the needs of the team and the client and whoever the stakeholders are. That doesn't diminish their responsibilities or the expectations of great performance. But what it does is say, I want to see these things, but I would rather see, but I care more about the excellence as you as a person. You'll be surprised at how much more that will unlock the performance on the work side when you help take care of the other side of that person. So it's not an excuse. So have that frank conversation. Open up first, and then let them know you're going to be trying to make some changes in the way you approach things. And invite them to do the same, especially if there's layers of leadership. If they have direct reports, then invite them to join you in walking through this, to have a perspective shift and an attitude and a heart change towards people. Like I said, it could be 5 degrees, it could be 50 degrees, it could be a 180-degree change. But if you're not just demanding that somebody else treat people better, but you're saying, I'm going to treat you better, and then I want you to treat your people better, and then they should treat their people better, and ultimately they're going to treat the clients and the customers better too. It trickles down.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
So that would be my...
That's
how I run that home.
That's how you run that home. Well, good. I hope you all...
That may be our new closing line. And that's how you run that home.
That's good. No, I hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope you're all inspired to start running home. So, be fit.
Be fit.
Be fit.
I feel like that could start to fit into the tagline we have right now. You know, it's like, be fit, be heard, be captivating. What? What's that mean? Does that mean I need to look better? That's
interpret it how you want.
Right. It's open to interpretation.
All right. Well, let's jump straight into those shout-outs, because if you've been listening to the previous podcast, there's been some really cool sound effects added in there by... Take it away.
By David the Engineer. He's been doing a rockin' awesome job and making us sound fun and professional, which is a tension that is difficult to manage, but he does it well, and I feel like maybe we make him work harder for that. Also, Quietdrive for our intro song, which is so awesome and rockin'. But you can find them in iTunes, Spotify, I think probably YouTube, website. We're going to have all of these links down in the show notes, and same for Illenium. He is rocking and rolling because I follow him on his Facebook fan page, and that man is getting booked left and right. So he has really good stuff, so go check him out. Same thing, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. There's a few other places. He has a great website, so you can find out more about him and what he's doing. So we want to make sure we're sending some traffic and love to both of those groups and guys. And then, am I missing anybody else?
I don't think so.
You know what? Thank you, Hannah, for being
welcome,
such a
Kenny.
rockin' and awesome host. So really, it's a lot of fun. So I look forward to these things, and I hope that other people enjoy it. If no one else does, I did.
Me as well.
I feel like "as well" is your go-to phrase.
It is.
Probably have that tattooed somewhere, like on your
as
arm.
well. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. And again, as always, thanks for listening to the Business Rising podcast. This was Hannah Bauer and Kenny Lang from the Phoenix 21 Creative Agency. And until next time, keep rising.
What's up, Facebook? Did we get any questions?
No questions.
No questions. Apparently, I communicate so clearly.
Start asking some questions.
Hey, Johnny Sawyer joined.
Go ahead and double check that I didn't miss any. Johnny, why didn't you ask a question?
Right, Johnny? Come on. All right.
All
Well,
right.
hey, we appreciate you if you jumped in for 5 minutes or the whole thing. Be on the lookout. Go check us out on YouTube. Instagram, Twitter, probably something new that I don't even know about.
Medium.
Schmedium. For short stories on Medium, Schmedium.
Schmedium.
Extra medium. All right, well, until next time, keep rising.